Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, your Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday. I just love doing that. Thank you so much for being here today. I have a fun and fantastic project to share with you. It is quite simply simple stamping. I have just a card base, and then we're going to ink and stamp directly on the card base, so it doesn't get much simpler than that. And the fantastic thing about this particular project is that there are absolutely no right or wrong to it. So I am going to be using the Waterfront stamp set. If you haven't got this set yet, oh my gosh, you don't even know what you're missing. It is an amazing stamp set. And let me tell you, when I first saw this set, I thought, oh, that's cool. And then I thought, I'm probably not going to do anything with that. I just don't do a whole lot of scenery cards. But then when I got it and I played with it, I thought, oh my gosh. Whoops, sorry, phone ringing. I thought, oh my gosh, that is absolutely fabulous. So I played with the stamp set a little bit more, and what I found out was that there are literally no right or wrong answers, no right or wrong ways to stamp with this stamp set. So let's get right into it, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright, so what do you need? The first thing you need is a standard card base. Mine is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I've got it folded and burnished, and I'm just going to flip this one over for you because, as you can imagine, I'm deliberately hiding the front. So this is the card that we are making today. It is a fantastic little beach scene, and this little silhouette here reminds me of those pictures that your parents used to have on the wall, right? That had the little black background and it had the galactic painting inside or whatever. It was so fun. So this card is going to be very similar to that. So let me show you how I did it. I've got my plain card base here. So I've got the card base, and then I made a mask for it. And as you can see here, this is the one that I used for the other one. It goes the width of the card, but it doesn't necessarily have to cover the whole front. I'm just going to line it up where I think looks like center. And that's where the width of the card comes in, because I can line it up with the edges and know that it's centered on that side. And then I'm left with this, okay? Now, I have a variety of different colors here. I have Crushed Curry, Cajun Craze, Grapefruit Grove, and because we're going to do a beachy kind of desert scene, I have a little Highland Heather. Now, if you can believe it, there actually is a bit of Highland Heather in this background as well, even though it doesn't really look like it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the Crushed Curry, and we're going to take our sponge dauber. And I need my scrap paper. You definitely want to have a piece of scratch paper beside you for this one. We're just going to give it some little dabs, and then, excuse me, and then we're just going to lightly shade in the open area. So we'll just give it some nice little swirls here. I'm focusing more along the outer edge just now, because I want to get that definitive line. As you can see here, there's definitely a definitive line on that painted area, so I want to do that. And then I'm just going to keep in mind that this area here is going to be my sandy base, so I don't really want to color that either. And then I'm just going to work my way into the card. There really is no right way or wrong way to do this, and every single one is going to look totally different. You'll notice when I'm finished with this one, I'll compare the two and you'll be able to see how different the two really are. So let me get this one out of the way. And now I want to do a little Cajun craze. Alright, and once again, we're going to focus just a little on the outside edges and then work our way in. There we go. Notice we're getting a little bit more texture going on here now. It's pretty cool. Get out of there. Get out of there, friend. There we go. Alright. And then I want to put just a little bit of that Highland Heather. And the Highland Heather actually gives it kind of that grayish look right back there. That's what the Highland Heather did. So it's pretty interesting how that works. Let's see here. Alright, we're just going to add a little in here. You see, isn't that neat how it adds some of the green? Color theory, friends. Color theory. Alright, there we go. And we don't need very much of that. Just a little. Let's cover up some of that pink over here from the Cajun craze. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to come back and lighten it all up just a little bit with the Grapefruit Grove. And we're just going to put this over the whole thing. And any parts that we need lightened up a little bit, we'll go over it with that Grapefruit Grove. It's fabulous. I hope I'm not jiggling the table too much, as I realize my stand is probably moving. Okay. There we go. Now we want to make sure that we pay extra special attention around the edges of the paper. There we go. And don't worry about it not looking like much just yet. We're not done. We're not done. Let's see. Now we want to start working on the bottom part, and, and since we already know that's the sandy area, we're going to get out some Sahara sand and crumb cake. Alright. And now, just like we did up here, we want to focus a lot of attention right here around the edges. So as you're going along, just kind of give it a little more oomph right there around the edges. Hold your paper down tight. There we go. And we're pulling some of the color from up here, and we're just kind of pulling it down. Now, I don't want you to say, oh, I'm not artistic, I couldn't possibly do that, because I'm telling you, if you just try it, you will see that you don't have to have any artistic skill, talent, ability at all whatsoever to do this. I mean, I certainly have absolutely no real painting ability at all. But this set makes it so easy to not have to have any of that ability. It's uncanny. Alright, now let's add just a little bit of a darker shade in here. There we go. Just a little bit of texture. And then we will go ahead and peel off the mask and reveal Get those fuzzies off there. Reveal our background. Super neat, isn't it? Okay, now we can get to work on, where's that piece at? Here it is. Alright, so I'm using this image that's got like a little Z line in it. And I'm just going to ink it up directly with the crumb cake. And I want to go off the edges of the paper. Not off the paper, but off the edges of the background to give it some depth and dimension. So as you're stamping, I don't want you to think about staying inside that oval. I want you to go offset. There we go. As you can see, I am not the one doing all of the work. The stamp set is. See? I love it. It looks like absolutely nothing. It's fabulous. But the wonderful thing about this stamp set is, as you keep going, it will start coming into play, and you will see that it really does make something. Alright, so now I'm taking the Sahara sand, and I'm taking the small mountain looking zigzag here. There are two. There's a bigger one and a smaller one, and I actually like the small one to be like mountains and the big one to be like water. So I'll show you what I mean here in just a few minutes, but let's keep working on this first. We're just going to stamp this off the side. And I did stamp overlapping right here just so that it kind of fills in that space and looks like the mountain is in the distance. So I kind of like that. And let me get Old Olive. And I'm just gonna stamp our little cabin right there. There we go. Cabin is on the beach. And then, oh, I'm gonna need that again. And then I want crumb cake and my little palm trees. I feel like Bob Ross right about now. My happy little trees. Get my happy little trees. Oh man. Well, this is no Bob Ross painting, that's for sure. And you don't have to be Bob Ross to do it, so that's even better. Alright, and then we'll put the tops on the palm trees. Look at that, isn't it so neat? Okay. And then one more thing. We're going to take the crushed curry again and the sun. And last time I did it just off, but I don't really like it off like that so much, so I'm going to see what it looks like if I just stamp it just inside. And it actually doesn't show up very well, so it probably looks better like that. So there we go. You know, don't do that, or do that if you like it, whichever. I don't know. I'm kind of impartial to that one at this point. Alright, and now the really cool thing is that I'm going to take this crumb cake and these little speckles. I was totally surprised by the power of these little speckles. They really and truly finish a project up better. I mean, look at that. Just having those little speckles on there, it makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? And actually, I'll tell you what, I will go ahead and stamp the sentiment first so that you can really get a good look between speckles and no speckles. It really makes a difference. It's crazy. Alright, let me get this stuff out of the way. I have a lot of ink pads going on here. Alright, let's ink this up and stamp it down. Stamp it down. There we go. Alright, my friends. Look at that. Look at the difference. It is incredible. how much difference those little speckles make. There's a huge, huge difference there. All right, here we go. Speckles coming up. I'm using crumb cake for the speckles. And literally, all you're doing is, without actually trying to be uniform in any way, you're just going to, let me turn that around, just going to give some speckles. Isn't that cool? I love it. So when I want to feel like I'm actually artsy, even if I'm not, I really like pulling this stamp set out because look at this. I mean, it's so cool. You can do anything with it and it looks like you've done something, you know? I love it. So here's this card, and this is fine. This was me playing around and just see what it would look like, and I really liked the idea of masking it off, which, by the way, this is just a piece of copy paper, and I used one of the layering ovals to the size that I wanted, and then I put a piece of medical tape that I put on my pants first to kind of put a little fuzzies on the sticky part so it wasn't quite so sticky, so it wouldn't tear up my card. So I've just got a piece of tape on either side, and that's what we had laid down to mask it off and color it, and then when we pull it up, it's got that fabulous frame. So this is that design. It was super simple. You guys saw it, what, a couple of minutes total, right? Quick and simple. Now let me show you a couple others that I've done. This one is a similar concept. I actually cut the oval shape out and then stamped on the oval shape itself and then matted it, and then boom, it was done. This is done with just the stamping part and not any of the sponging. So you can see the background is still plain white. I could have come in with some Pool Party maybe first and colored it, but you know, you don't need it. You can see how simple and easy it is to do. So it's just some stamping and then the dots. And I'm telling you, those speckles, gosh, they make all the difference in the world. All right, let's look at another one. Here is basically the same concept as this one, the same colors, but I've put it on the whole front of a card, and I've added more to it, obviously, to fill it in a little bit. But you see those speckles? I'm telling you, the speckles, my friends, the speckles. All right, now let's look at one that's not a beach scene, but this one's like a mountain and forest scene. This is more like what I would be seeing around here in East Tennessee. We don't really have much for beaches, and we certainly don't have any palm trees, but we've got an awful lot of pines, and we have the mountains, so it's very pretty. So there's that one. And then I got a little more creative. So I've done just this piece, and I haven't layered it onto anything yet, but you can see that I've got more green and more blue. So to me, this looks like the lake by the mountains and the trees, and I really like it. It's very, very pretty. And then here's a sunset beachy scene, which I used, did I use Daffodil Delight or Crushed Curry? I'm not sure. I think I used Daffodil Delight into Crushed Curry, to be honest, and then I used some red and I just faded it up. And then just a little bit of a beach scene, some light water, the speckles again, a little hut, and some palm trees. So you can see, I mean, super simple. And then... and this was just more playing around. I mean, it's totally just playing around. I liked the idea of offsetting this one a little bit. I could put the sentiment here if I wanted to and layer it onto a card or whatever I wanted to do. These were just pieces of paper I had laying around as I started playing. And then I got a lot more in depth and thought, you know what, I can do this artsy thing. I can do this. Well, maybe not really, but... So I know what I did here is I did the masking again, only in reverse. So I took my, I think that's a 3/4 inch, or maybe it's a 1 inch punch, and I punched out a Post-it note with the sticky side, and put it over the top of that, and then just used the blues to make the background. And then I stamped the mountains in gray, and I stamped the trees just overlapping each other all the way up, and just faded them as I went. So I'd stamp it strong, and then stamp it again, and then stamp it again. Stamp it strong, stamp it again, stamp it again. And then I came in with our chalk pen and started adding a little bit of detail. So I don't know if you can see it very good, but how the mountain looks like it's got snow on it, that was so easy. I just scribbled a little bit of paint right on the edges of the mountain, and that was it. It really wasn't that big of a deal. And then you can see I just put little speckles of light for stars in the sky. And then I totally pulled out the Bob Ross and put some little lines down the center of the trees and some little spots of the paint for the snow. So you can see, I mean, that one, I was just tinkering around, but you get the idea. And then this one I'm really proud of. I probably couldn't do it again. I'm not crafty like that at all. I'm so not artsy. This one actually took me a bit of time though. Again, I masked off the moon, and I started from the outside and worked my way in and got lighter and lighter as I went. And I was actually looking at a picture on Google, and it was just I don't know if it was a painting or something, but it was a framed picture, and so I just kind of copied it, and how the shadows and the reflections of the light and everything, it was just copied from the Google picture. But it's interesting how it really isn't so difficult once you start working at it and just take it step by step. So, you know, anyway, I mean, this may be a bit more in-depth and detailed than you're interested in doing, but this was super simple. This was literally just stamping. This one was just a little bit of sponging in the background and mostly stamping, and then just stamping, and all of these were just stamping. And then you saw how easy the project was that we did today. Super, super simple, right? I know you guys can do this. This is easy stuff. This is easy peasy. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. The Waterfront stamp set is in our annual catalog, and I know that Celebration is going on right now, and we have all the really cool Celebration products and occasions products, but this is in the annual catalog, and if you purchase this stamp set and something else, you can still earn your $50 or $100 Celebration rewards too. It doesn't have to be something out of the occasions catalog. So anyway, keep that in mind, and I hope that you enjoyed the video today. I really hope that if you have this stamp set, you give this a try, because it is so much fun and relaxing, and even if you absolutely hate it and end up throwing it in the garbage, you'll have fun doing it. So just give it a try. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.